What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is November the 21st. Happy Friday, everyone. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, we do have, as per usual, a lot of Fed speakers. And so that hasn't really worked out too well for at least this week, because I feel like they've added a hell of a lot more volatility rather than making the market better. But we do also have a lot of flash data coming out at 9:45. So we have composite, manufacturing, and services. In all the cases, above 50 is a key kind of point because it does signal more of an expansion rather than a contraction. Although looking at the previous, comparing it to the forecast, in all the cases it is anticipated to go down. So might not be the best. And then we also do have Michigan consumer sentiment, so a big inflationary data point at 10 a.m. So it could be a very fun day. Early this morning, we already have Williams kind of mentioning that there could be a potential December cut. And this is, again, might just be to give some optimism to the broader market, because we did have Feds doing some significant damage, one of which is Cook said that the market's overvalued due to kind of high multiples. That's one of the biggest attributing factors why the market went poop yesterday, like popped the bubble. So it's crazy stuff. And I think in general, I kind of mentioned this in some of my dedicated videos yesterday, SoFi, I believe. Ultimately, the market's forward looking, right? So it always wants to look at and for the next big catalyst. If we don't have something to look forward to, then unfortunately the market tends to go down. So I think this is why you have Williams mentioning that we might be having a December cut, just to give a little bit of hope, just to kind of push things higher. So even though right now the futures are pushing a little bit green right now, so Dow is at 0.56, S&P up 0.51, NASDAQ up 0.5, it is very, very low volume. So in my experience, especially kind of analyzing a lot of this pre-market data, it is fair to assume once the market does open that we might actually have a push lower. Again, only because of all the data that's coming out hasn't really been the greatest. And so yeah, every time I've seen usually a little bit lower volume, it's big institutions just waiting for the market to open, buy puts, and then bring the market down. So that's just my experience. Hopefully I'm wrong and it goes the opposite way and it just goes higher. But aside from that though, SoFi is flat during the pre-market. After hours yesterday, it was down almost like 2%, and even during the overnight. So that's kind of the beneficial thing of having overnight trading. And so if you guys don't have a broker just yet, then I'd suggest signing up for IBKR. I have a link to them in the description below. But aside from that, so SoFi doesn't have any news, no SDC filings. It's been rather quiet from them for a while. During the pre-market, shorts are increasing about 11,000 shares. 9.4% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 111.3 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts surprisingly have been returning despite all the craziness that's been happening in the broader market. So I see that as relatively bullish, if you ask me, only because like they could easily double down and triple down, but the fact that they don't is something to take note of. With it right now though, at 24.68, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 24.25 is going to be that key support level. If not, you could see a kind of greater significant consolidation period start to occur with SoFi. And then 26.08 is going to be the next strong target. I personally don't really see that being on the table for today. So today is just most likely just going to be stuck in kind of this range. But if the data comes out negative, then just watch for that 24.25. NIO, and on a side note, both NIO and SoFi are top 10 most heavily traded, even though the volume is a little bit lower. So big money is going to be paying attention to both. In NIO's case, it is down 0.93%. Nothing really concrete has been coming out associated to NIO. This has been one very, very brutal sell-off that's been happening. Very similar to actually the March kind of sell-off. But aside from that though, when it comes down to shorts, they are returning about 306,000 shares during the pre-market. 11.57% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 160.07 million shares overall being shorted. Right now with that 535, trading between this S2 and this S3, so 528. That's going to be that key point to really watch for. If not, if that does break, then you could see 417 being the next strong support. SMX is getting a lot of volume this morning. It is up 3.07%. There really hasn't been any news, no SEC filings. They did put out a couple PRs yesterday, but every single time, as I've been very open with you, every single time you see a stock down 99.98% over the last 1 year, and you see kind of price action based on no news, instantly go to dilutiontracker.com. I don't have the paid kind of version of it, but you can generally see, you want to look for convertible notes. And if they have a lot of warrants, a lot of convertible notes, then it is fair to assume that it is moving higher based on dilution. And this stock has a lot of convertible notes and a lot of warrants. So this stock, unless you are a experienced trader, I would avoid. You can definitely make money. I've like pointed out many stocks that you can actually make money riding the dilution wave up, but definitely is not for the faint of heart, because just at a minute's notice it can easily drop. So in general, be very cautious with this one. Based on the market cap, I think this stock probably only has like a little bit of time left before they're done. So again, just be very, very cautious. I wanted to bring this up only because technically it's getting a lot of volume, but nonetheless, trade it if you want. But it is below all the key fib levels, so it's more so going to be the whole numbers. So just watch for like 450 to be like the support levels, and then $5 in theory to be the next strong target / resistance. But again, just heed caution. Moving on from here, ticker IREN. So it is up 1.93%. There really hasn't been any news, no SEC filings. I've seen a lot of chatter on Reddit about this stock as well as on Twitter. So I feel like that's kind of the reason why it is moving higher. So again, just heed caution with that one. But 22.87% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 58.08 million shares. So shorts right now are at all-time highs. So they're sensing blood, and they could be also one major attributing factor why the stock price really did go down. Because in case you don't know, shorts increasing, they kind of add selling pressure, right? So right now with that 44.29, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 41.90 and then 48.80 is going to be the next strong target / resistance and support points. So given this, I don't really see this 48.80 being hit, rather this 41.90 possibly. So just kind of watch for that. And then last but not least, Opendoor. So they got absolutely hit like crazy yesterday. It is up 1.95%. No news from them, no SEC filings, just more of a kind of hyped up push higher. Aside from that, though, their shorts are increasing about 377,000 shares during their pre-market. 20.72% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 137 million shares overall being shorted. Shorts, surprisingly, have been doing the opposite. They've been returning quite a lot. They had an initial spike right here, but they've been largely returning. So that's kind of a positive thing, something to take note of, though. Of course, by them returning, hasn't really helped the stock price whatsoever, because the market conditions have been absolutely crappy for Opendoor, so they seem to not be able to catch a break. But nonetheless, I think even with Cook mentioning about high multiples, Opendoor and many of the stocks actually I did bring up are pretty much exactly what Cook's talking about. So even though Opendoor in theory is going to do a lot of good things, it does have a high multiple. Same with ticker IREN. NIO, not so much. NIO just seems to not be able to catch a break regardless. But with it right now at 631, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 576 and then 657 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So and also support point. So with that said, hopefully everyone has a good day and a good weekend. One final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.